If you've read Trading in the Zone and still struggle emotionally in the market, this video is for you. Mark Douglas was absolutely right about probability, discipline, and mindset. But there's a piece he never addressed. Because trading psychology doesn't land the same way when your nervous system was trained by pressure, scarcity, and survival. If you've ever felt like the rules make sense, but following them feels harder for you than for others, stay with me. This isn't about canceling Mark Douglas. It's about completing the conversation. And finally, understanding why the market hits different for some of us. Real cultural diversity results from the interchange of ideas, products, and influences, not from the insular development of a single national style. Tyler Cowen. Mark Douglas is widely regarded as one of the most influential voices in modern trading psychology. Not because he taught strategies or indicators, but because he addressed the mental architecture required to survive and thrive in probabilistic environments. At a time when most traders were obsessed with finding the perfect setup, Douglas redirected the conversation inward toward beliefs, discipline, and emotional regulation. His work gave language to struggles traders felt but couldn't articulate. In Trading in the Zone, Douglas made a radical claim. The market is not the enemy. Your mind is. He argued that traders don't fail because they lack information, but because they are emotionally incompatible with uncertainty. This insight alone shifted trading from a technical pursuit to a psychological one, forcing traders to confront fear, impulsivity, and the need to be right. One of Douglas's most powerful contributions was his emphasis on probability thinking. He taught that trading success has little to do with predicting outcomes and everything to do with accepting randomness. Each trade is independent, and no setup guarantees success. This idea dismantled the illusion of control and replaced it with a framework where consistency comes from executing an edge repeatedly, not from any correct single trade. Douglas also reframed losses in a way that was deeply liberating for traders. Losses, he explained, are not personal failures. They are the cost of doing business. By separating self-worth from the trade outcomes, he helped traders stop spiraling emotionally after losing trades. This reframing alone has saved countless traders from revenge trading, overtrading, and abandoning otherwise profitable systems. Another standout insight was his focus on belief systems. Douglas argued that beliefs act as filters through which traders interpret market information. Two traders can look at the same chart and see entirely different opportunities or threats based on their internal narratives. By identifying and restructuring limiting beliefs, traders could finally align their behavior with their intentions. Douglas was also clear that discipline is not about willpower. Instead, it emerges naturally when beliefs are aligned with market realities. When traders truly accept uncertainty and risk at a psychological level, they no longer need to force themselves to follow rules. Rule following becomes effortless, not because trading is easy, but because internal conflict is reduced. Ultimately, Trading in the Zone gave traders something far more valuable than a system. It gave them a mental operating system. Douglas normalized emotional struggle, validated the psychological difficulty of trading, and provided a framework that remains foundational decades later. His work didn't just help traders trade better, it helped them understand why trading is one of the most psychologically demanding activities a human can undertake. I agree with Mark Douglas, and I say that with respect, not resistance. His framework around probability, discipline, and belief alignment is sound. But every framework has a vantage point, and every vantage point has a horizon. What Trading in the Zone masterfully explained was how the mind behaves in uncertainty. What it didn't explore was how different minds are conditioned before they ever meet uncertainty. Trading psychology doesn't begin at the chart. It begins in the nervous system. And nervous systems are shaped by culture, history, and lived experience. Culture determines what uncertainty means to the body. For some traders, risk is a puzzle. For others, risk has historically meant danger, loss of safety, or loss of dignity. When traders from marginalized communities enter the market, they don't arrive as blank slates. They arrive with generational memories of scarcity, heightened consequences for mistakes, and a learned hypervigilance that once protected survival. Without naming this, traders may internalize emotional reactions as personal weakness, when in fact they are adaptive responses carried into a new environment. This omission matters because unaddressed context becomes self-blame. When a trader understands probability intellectually but struggles emotionally, the gap is often cultural, not cognitive. Without acknowledging how history shapes fear responses, patience, thresholds, and loss tolerance, traders are taught what to think, but not why their bodies resist compliance. Cultural awareness doesn't invalidate Douglas's principles. It explains the friction people feel when trying to live them. The future of trading psychology must be integrative. Probability thinking is universal, but access to emotional neutrality is not evenly distributed. When cultural diversity is included, trading psychology evolves from behavior correction to psychological liberation. It stops asking, why can't you follow the rules? And starts asking, what shaped the rules your nervous system learned long before the market? That shift doesn't weaken Douglas's work, it complements it. It's important to say this out loud. What you feel makes sense. The hesitation, the hypervigilance, the second guessing, the emotional weight you carry into spaces like the stock market. It didn't come from nowhere. It comes from generations of navigating systems where mistakes were costly, forgiveness was rare, and survival required awareness at all times. There's nothing weak or broken about that. In fact, it proves how adaptive, intelligent, and resilient Black people have always been. The problem isn't the feeling, it's carrying it into environments where it no longer serves you. You were taught to be careful because carelessness wasn't an option. You were taught to read the room because safety depended on it. You were taught to work twice as hard because excellence was often the only shield. Those lessons saved lives. They built families. They sustained communities. But the market doesn't reward vigilance the same way the world once demanded it. It rewards calm repetition, emotional neutrality, and trust in the process. Honoring your history doesn't mean letting it run your future. Feeling anxious about money doesn't mean you're bad with money. It means money has always meant more than numbers. It meant shelter, dignity, access, protection, and choice. So, of course, risks feel heavier. Of course, losses sting deeper. The reaction is human. The transformation begins when you stop judging yourself for that response and start training yourself for a new relationship with the uncertainty, one rooted in choice instead of fear. It's okay to feel behind. It's okay to feel late to the game. Many Black traders didn't inherit exposure to investing. They inherited responsibility. That doesn't make you unqualified. It makes you intentional. What others absorbed casually, you are learning deliberately. And deliberate learning creates mastery that lasts, not confidence that collapses at the first drawdown. But here's the shift. Understanding is not the same as staying stuck. Compassion without action becomes comfort, and comfort eventually becomes a ceiling. You are allowed to acknowledge the weight you carry, and then you can put it down. The same strength that helped you endure can now help you evolve. Survival taught you how to hold on. Wealth will teach you when to let go. Addressing this isn't betrayal, it's continuation. Healing your relationship with money doesn't disconnect you from your people. It expands what's possible for them. When you choose regulation over reaction, patience over panic, and process over pressure, you don't just change your outcomes, you change the narrative of what's possible for those watching you quietly. So yes, feel what you feel, name it, respect it, but don't let it dry. You are no longer only surviving systems, you are learning to use them strategically. And when your nervous system catches up with your intellect, you'll realize something powerful. You were never behind. You were being prepared. Now it's time to apply that preparation with intention, discipline, and belief in your own expansion.
Pause. No, seriously, pause for 1 second. If you're watching this right now, it probably means one of two things. You're either trying to make sense of the market, or the market just humbled you a little today. Well, first, thank you for being here and watching this channel. That means more than you probably realize. Because trading can feel incredibly lonely. 1 minute you're confident, the next minute price reverses, and you're staring at the screen thinking, what just happened? You study the charts, you watch the videos, you try to follow the rules, but somehow the market still finds a way to hit your stop, shake your confidence, and make you question whether you even belong here. And let me tell you something very clearly. You are not crazy, and you are not the only one experiencing this. Most traders aren't failing because they're lazy. They're failing because they're navigating chaos without structure. They're guessing, they're chasing, they're reacting to price instead of preparing for it. That frustration you feel when price moves exactly where you expect it after you close your trade. Yeah, we've all been there. That's exactly why I built this community, a place where traders can stop guessing and start trading with clarity, structure, and confidence. Inside our free community, I share the exact SPY levels I'm watching for the next trading day, the same level institutions are paying attention to. Support, resistance, key areas where decisions actually happen. No fluff, no noise. Just structure that helps you approach the market with freedom and clarity instead of fear and confusion. So if you're serious about becoming a better trader, join our free community using the link in the description. Grab tomorrow's SPY levels, introduce yourself, and let me personally welcome you inside. You don't have to figure this out alone anymore. And if this video helped you even a little, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the community.
So now let's widen the lens, not to dwell on barriers, but to name them so you can be transformed. When challenges stay unnamed, they feel personal. When they're named, they become navigable terrain. Here are 10 additional challenges that often show up in the Black community and why recognizing them is the first step to mastery, not limitation. If any of them sound familiar, let me know in the comments so that we can continue this conversation and help other traders who may be struggling with them as well. Do you struggle with scarcity thinking? Scarcity isn't a mindset flaw, it's a learned survival strategy. When resources have historically been limited, the nervous system learns to grab quickly and hold tightly. In trading, this can look like overtrading, oversized positions, or fear of taking small losses. The transformation happens when scarcity is honored for what it once protected and then gently retrained for abundance. Do you have limited financial runway? Many traders enter the market without a cushion, which makes every trade feel heavier than it should. When money has multiple responsibilities, bills, family, emergency, risks feel personal. The market becomes safer when traders learn to start with what they are, size for sustainability, and build confidence without rushing the timeline. Do you have a distrust of Eurocentric financial systems? The stock market doesn't exist in a cultural vacuum. For many, it's associated with exclusion, exploitation, or systems that historically didn't serve Black communities. That skepticism is intelligent. The shift comes when traders separate the tool from the history and learn to use the system strategically rather than emotionally. Do you experience a lack of representation in the markets? It's harder to imagine yourself succeeding when you rarely see people who look like you doing the work. Representation isn't cosmetic, it's neurological. Seeing others succeed expands perceived possibility. Becoming visible in this space isn't just personal success, it's permission for others to try. Do you feel pressure to get it right the first time? Mistakes have historically come with higher cost, which creates an internal demand for perfection. In trading, perfection leads to hesitation and paralysis. Mastery comes when traders give themselves permission to learn publicly, fail safely, and improve incrementally. Progress beats perfection every single time. Do you have hyper responsibility to others? Many Black traders carry responsibility not just for themselves, but for families, communities, and generations. This can make risk feel selfish or irresponsible. Reframing trading as legacy building, not individual gain, allows responsibility to become fuel rather than pressure. Have you ever been taught about emotional overcontrol? Strength has often meant emotional restraint, but in trading, suppressed emotion doesn't disappear. It leaks out through impulsive decisions. Emotional intelligence in the market isn't about being emotionless. It's about allowing emotion to inform, not dominate. Do you struggle due to lack of early financial education? Not knowing the rules of the game early doesn't mean you can't master it later. It means your learning curve is steeper, but also more intentional. Many Black traders become exceptional precisely because they had to learn cautiously what others absorb passively. Do you have a fear of visibility and success? Success can create distance from peers, from old identities, from familiar environments. This can unconsciously cap performance. True freedom comes when traders allow success to be an expansion, not a betrayal of where they come from. Do you harbor internalized narratives about who trading is for? When society subtly communicates that certain spaces aren't meant for you, self-doubt can masquerade as logic. The market doesn't reward pedigree. It rewards discipline, consistency, and emotional regulation. Those traits are not culturally exclusive. They are human and trainable. If any of this is relevant to you, then the principles in trading in the zone don't need to be replaced, they need to be expanded. When you add cultural awareness to Douglas's framework, probability thinking becomes more than an intellectual exercise. It becomes a regulated experience. Accepting that anything can happen is easier when you also acknowledge how your body learned to anticipate danger long before the market. By naming that response, you stop fighting yourself and start integrating emotional regulation directly into your trading plan. Douglas taught that consistency comes from consistent thinking. Cultural context helps explain why consistent thinking can feel harder at first. When you understand that hesitation, overtrading, or fear or loss may be rooted in inherited survival strategies, you can address them deliberately. This turns self-judgment into self-observation. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" you begin asking, "What part of me is trying to protect me? And how do I retrain it for this environment?" Adding cultural awareness also deepens the principle that losses are simply a cost of doing business. For traders carrying generational pressure, losses can feel like personal or collective failure. When you separate history from the present moment, losses shrink back to their rightful size. They become data, not verdicts. This alignment follows Douglas's teachings on risk acceptance to move from theory into practice, where discipline becomes sustainable instead of forced. Ultimately, integrating the lenses completes the emotional architecture Douglas outlined. Trading in the zone teaches traders how to think probabilistically. Cultural awareness teaches them how to feel safely enough to do it. When both are present, traders stop battling themselves and start executing with clarity. That's when the zone becomes accessible, not as a personality trait or privilege, but as a trained, embodied state available to anyone willing to do the work. If you've been listening to this and thinking, "This finally explains what I've been feeling," that's not an accident. Trading is hard, but trading while carrying unspoken history, pressure, and self-doubt is harder. You don't need more indicators or louder gurus. You need an environment where your experience is understood, where psychology is taught with context, all while still honoring discipline, probability, and excellence. That's exactly why this community exists. Not to coddle you, not to hype you, but to help you grow in a space where you don't have to leave parts of yourself at the door, where emotional regulation is trained, not shamed, where accountability exists alongside compassion, and where trading in the zone isn't dismissed, but fully integrated into real lived experience. If you're ready to do this work without pretending you're starting from the same place as everyone else, you don't have to do it alone. Growth happens faster when you feel safe enough to be honest, supported enough to stay consistent, and challenged enough to evolve. That combination is rare, but it's possible when community is intentional. So if this message resonated, let that be your signal. Join us. Comment below and share what stood out to you. Like this video so more people who need this conversation can find it. And subscribe, not just for content, but for continuity. You don't need to trade harder. You need to trade clearer. And that starts in the right environment. You've got this. Peace and blessings, Dr. O.